Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today we are checking out the Team Corelli Shiroi. This is a 6S aluminum chassis short course truck. And we've been getting, a couple of releases lately of the bigger trucks, the 1/8 scale to 1/7 scale short course trucks, but unfortunately they've come with a plastic chassis. I think of something like the Traxxas Max Slash, which if you've been following this channel, I've had a lot of issues with. I am a fan of having an aluminum chassis. I find that they are just a lot stronger. Having everything bolting onto an aluminum chassis, in my opinion, is the way to go. I see these trucks that have they'll do an aluminum motor mount, but then it's bolting into plastic. Or then they have another mount, but then that bolts into plastic. And at that point, you always have that weak spot. In my opinion, the best way to go is always having the aluminum chassis. The strength is there. And if you bend an aluminum chassis, there is a really good chance that you would have just shattered the plastic one. So again, guys, my opinion, aluminum chassis is the way to go. We are going to quickly just go over a couple of minor things, guys, in the box before we get the truck out. 16mm big bore shocks. You have the aluminum safety pin CVDs now. So if you remember back with the Kagama 4S, they had a few issues with the it almost looked like kind of a spring that kind of wrapped around the outdrive where the pin was. And some of those would come apart. Now my Kagama 4, guys, is still good. And I actually still have the original outdrives in it. I still have the original CVDs. I don't have these safety pin caps. So I haven't needed them yet. I've got the parts. I just haven't needed them yet. But I do have these on the limited edition Kagama that I have, and I've had zero issues with that as well. The arms are the same as the Spark. So the neat thing about that is that if you have a Corelli Spark and you've bought, a few extra parts, spares, you're going to be good to go because you're going to be able to use them on the Shiroi. Love that they're continuing with these spring steel outdrives. I'm going to talk more about it, guys, in the video, but the best way to kind of explain these is, yes, they are hardened, they are a little bit stronger, but if you have a Corelli car right now and it has the spring steel outdrives on it, and it's got a few other extra parts, if you have those, take a look at them and then go take a look at another company's outdrives. And I'm just going to leave you with that. You'll know what I'm talking about as soon as, again, as you look at the Corelli, and if you look at another company's, you'll know what I mean. Again, we'll talk about it later, guys, in the video, but right here, this is the Extreme Hybrid Chassis Brace System. Now, this is identical to the Kagama. It's even, as far as I know, guys, from the quick look that I took, they are the same part numbers. So, in my opinion, guys, the Shiroi is more of a Kagama than anything else. From what it looks like, besides from, let's say, the mounting for the bumpers and the body posts, a lot of this is the same as the Kagama. Obviously, the arms are a lot narrower and everything like that. But in my opinion, you've got kind of a Kagama base, which is, hey, that is freaking awesome. Diffs, guys, the 8mm A-to-D blocks, all that stuff is the same. So what I want to do now is get this out of the box because I am excited to see this truck. I love short course trucks, and it's funny when it comes to a short course truck, we want to kind of drive them the same way as we drive our monster trucks, yet it's a different platform. You have different tires. The suspension works a little bit different, but I have a feeling that this is going to be the truck that we can drive the same way we drive our monster trucks. I have a feeling it's going to take the punishment. So either way, guys, without further ado, let's just get it out of the box. All right, guys, first look, we still have the wrap on it. This thing looks good. The size looks perfect. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get this thing zip tied, removed, cover off, and we're gonna see it sitting on the bench. All right, guys, so here it is, Team Corelli Shiroi out of the box, looking awesome. My first thought, besides just from the colors and looking good, was the suspension. So the truck is a little high, and I'm all for that, guys, because I know how I'm going to drive this thing. I know how I'm going to punish it. I know how I'm going to be ripping across terrain and taking jumps. And that was the first thing, guys, I noticed, was that the suspension itself, guys, feels good. I've heard a lot of people kind of say it's stiff. I'm not going to say it's stiff. it's not soft. To me, it just feels right. Team Corelli knows what people are doing with their trucks. I remember back my Dementor, and that thing, guys, was a beast. It was an absolute awesome truck, but out of the box, it was a little soft. And Team Corelli comes more of a racing heritage. That's kind of what they've been into in their past, however many years they've been making RCs. It's been quite a while, but they've been more of a racing company. So when they got into the bashing, they did things right. They went with the right materials, all that, but they still had kind of that racing thing going on. So the trucks were a little bit softer. Now you can tell when you buy a buggy, when you buy one of their monster trucks, and now with the Shiroi, they know what they're doing, so they are set up a little stiffer. Now, I haven't looked at all the spring rates yet. I'm not sure where this falls. I'm not sure if this is a medium or one of their hard springs. I'm gonna note it. I'll figure that stuff out later and I'll put it in another video. But for right now, this thing feels pretty good, and it looks, guys, awesome. I love this kind of blocky-ish look right here. I really like that. I like the way the hood kind of sits right here. I like that basically this is where it would, unhatch and it would flip, fold up kind of thing in the front. I really like this look of the body. I like the way they've got the nets, because this guy's here is more like a plastic. And what I like about that is that if you actually do something with more of like a netting material, it ends up just stretching and pulling, and then it ends up looking like crap. Where this should, guys, just keep its shape. But yeah, I'm really, guys, liking the body. I like the way it looks. I'm not really a super fan of these things, guys, right here, but I do think that they would probably help with just overall handling, maybe even in the air, it might help. Let's remember, guys, this is a short course truck, so it will be interesting to see what happens when we get this thing in the air. But yes, I am definitely liking the look of this truck. We've already got the roof guards, which is really, really nice. We've got, let's see here, we got a couple dudes sitting in there. Hopefully I don't lose their heads like I often lose heads on every other truck I have. I actually had found, I don't know where it is now. Last time I was up doing my RC thing up at where I run at my work, I actually had found the head of one of my trucks. One of the little dudes was sitting there when I was looking for something else. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, guys, my first impression is I am liking the look of this. I'm digging the blue, the orange, and the white. You can get it in a black, white, red, as well as a white, green, something else color going on. Now, looking at the back of the truck, my first kind of thought was, okay, everything looks cool. You got your fans and everything, to make it look more scale. I was kind of thinking more that, if you did start jumping this truck and maybe you did have a bit of a parachute effect going on, you could possibly take these out and kind of just trim them out, give yourself some hole, give yourself some venting. There's a few other places where you could do it as well. We'll see what happens, guys, once we get going, because again, I really do think, guys, this is going to be the answer to the bashing short course truck that we've wanted. Again, there's been the Traxxas Max Slash. Unfortunately, it was a plastic chassis. Didn't do all that well. The Mojave 4S, hey, that has been a great truck, but it was a 4S plastic tub truck as well. 6S, aluminum chassis, that's what we want. Now looking under the body, I like everything I see. I like the way they've got kind of this piece, guys, right there. That'll kind of pair up with the top right here. I would have liked to have seen it maybe this time more into the front and the rear body posts. Just having that extra support, I think, would help. I think the overall body itself, guys, especially in the center, is going to be fine. But again, just having that little bit of more reinforcement through the front body posts, through the rear body posts would help. Now, this is what I was talking about, guys, when I was mentioning that this is a lot like a Kagama. All this bracing, guys, in here is Kagama. The chassis as well is all Kagama. Your differentials, they use the same differentials in most of their cars. Besides from the spring steel, some of the, less expensive trucks do not have the spring steel, but the actual differentials themselves are the same. So to me, I'm going to keep saying it, guys, this is more a Kagama than anything else. Now, different arms, different shock towers, your bumpers, all that, guys, obviously were built around a short course truck, but definitely, guys, liking it. Like, you can't, when you look at a Team Corelli car, you can tell that they're built, you can tell they're bashable, but they just give you that little bit of extra character. Like every time I look in and I can see the red on the threaded collars down here, down there, it just gives you that little bit more of a slightly premium look. I'm definitely liking it. Now, quickly guys, going into electronics, it is your standard 6S electronics. So you have a 150 amp speed control, good for probably 3, 4, and 6S. You have your, I think it's a 2050 kV motor and your 25 kilogram steering servo. What I like about this ESC that it's basically, guys, a rebranded Max 8. So if you have any of the cards for those ESCs, you can go in, you can adjust whatever you need to do. So if it's, whether it's BEC, you want to bump it up to 7.4, you can do that depending on the servo. I have ran these servos on 7.4 and not had a problem. So that'll be something, guys, I'm doing, as well as quickly, guys, looking at this right now, the brake is sitting at 50%, so I'm fine with that. I'll leave that where it is. XT90s on the ESC, I will probably change these out, guys, just to a single connector. Now, whether I leave it an XT90 or go to my big connectors that I've been running lately, I can't even think now what they're called, the big QS8s, I may go that route just because I've been slowly changing over my 6S batteries. Now, is it needed on this? No, it's not, but I have been changing over my 6S batteries to QS8, so I'm probably going to do the same thing. Now, I went ahead and removed the tire, guys, just so that you could get a better look at the steering knuckle. This, again, guys, is where they replaced it. They now have this little collar on here, so the pin itself is a lot more secure. You can see the spring steel here. Very solid setup, guys. And once again, if you've got something like a Spark, you're now able to kind of share some parts. So if you happen to have broken arm, let's say in the Spark, and you bought a few spares, you're now going to have spares for this truck as well. Even with the chassis, if you think about it, if you wanted to go to the 7075 chassis, it's the 7075 Kagama chassis that you can add to this. Quick look up at the front. Bumpers, guys, look, they're designed the way they should be. Again, you've got those big A to D blocks. I like how this thing all ties in. One thing, and I think I talked about it in another video that's kind of neat, and I'm not going to pull the whole thing apart for you guys to see this, but your front kind of skid and bumper, you can see you've got the 4 screws right here, and then this 5th one in the back. What's really neat about Team Corelli is after, if you were to pull this off, you still have another 4 screws that are going into the diff housing. So there's 8 screws, I think 8 altogether, actually being bolted into the diff housing. So again, even if you happen to pull this skid, if you do a really bad landing and you pull this, you still have 4 screws that are through the chassis into the housing, where these ones now go through the skid, they go in through the chassis and into the housing. Very solid setup, guys. I've never had any issues with them. I do often replace the plastic diff housings with the aluminum ones, but I haven't really had to. I just do it because it looks good, and again, guys, I like knowing it's there, but I haven't had any issues for it. And one other thing while we're up here, because we can kind of get a better look at it, you can also see that the truck does have sway bars included, so that is not something you're going to have to add later on. Now, a couple of things I want to go over before we head out for the first run is, first off, I love that they've included these skid plates on the truck. These are the same ones that are on the Kagama. They're big, they're beefy, they tie into everything. It is nice just to have them there. Coming off a bad landing, you're doing a chassis slap, maybe you're hitting on pavement. Instead of coming down right on the chassis, you're going to hit these skids first, which I really like. Now, the other thing I realized I hadn't talked about yet were the tires. And they got kind of a cool feel to them. They're fairly gummy, but not insanely gummy where they're going to completely wear down. And the foam in them, I don't know what the proper name is, but they're more of like a quality foam. The word, guys, right now I don't have it, but it just feels really, really good. It feels like they're going to be very supportive. They're not going to be sloppy when you're out there ripping around. So what we're going to do now is we are going to get the tires back on. I've already given the truck a coat of the Moose Lake. It's actually the next day, guys. Now the truck's sat now. Actually, it's a couple of days later. So everything is good to go. It's during the day, so I can't head up to my work. I'm just going to head up to the top of my street. And I just want this, guys, to be kind of a quick run. I just want to get a feel for the truck. I want to see how it behaves. I want to see the performance. But I really want to see how it jumps. And I'm not talking big, massive, sends. Just drive up to the ramp, hit it, and see how the truck behaves in the air. Can we correct? Can we bring the front end up? Can we bring the nose down? Simple stuff like that, because that's going to kind of tell us how the truck's going to be when we start sending it. So either way, tires on, body on, we're going to head up and give this thing a run. All right, guys, so we're up here I've got the ramp set up. Again, we're not doing crazy sends. This is just more of getting a nice feel for the truck, see how it behaves, and everything is bone stock. We've even got, guys, the stock transmitter, which is something I usually don't use, but when I took it out of the box, I kind of, I was holding it, I was just kind of feeling it, I thought, what, this doesn't actually feel all that bad. We are going to be switching over to the radio link for the next run, but for this video and the purposes of this first run, bone stock, have not changed any settings on the ESC, still running the stock, believe it's a 13 tooth pinion. The truck does come with a 16 tooth as well, if you want to go for high speed. We've got a KC-RC heatsink on the motor. But here we go, guys. Driving the Team Corelli Shiroi. All right, so far, I'm liking it. Pretty easy to drive. Yeah, there we go. Grass is a little short, which is kind of nice when we get down there. All right, I am really liking these tires. They behave really nice. Yeah, I'm liking this. And guys, again, I've got no, AVC, TSM, gyro of any kind right now. And I usually do drive with that. Whew. All right. It's funny, when I saw the first kind of pictures and videos, I wasn't a fan of the tread pattern on the tires. I like something, that's just a little bit more scale, whatever, it's a BFG or something like that. But these things are really nice. Doesn't get too squirmy, but if I want, I can kind of gun it, have a little bit of fun with it. Okay. Don't. Oh man, this thing's a beauty. Like, I know doing what I'm doing now is kind of hard to really, because obviously you guys don't have a feel of the wheel, you don't have a feel of the throttle, but this thing drives really nice. Running a 6S, I should say, guys. Gen's A 6800 milliamp pack. That probably should be no surprise. And pretty easy, guys, to keep straight. Oh, she boogies. Let's try that again. Full pin. Oh, wow. That is wicked on stock tires. This thing almost makes me look like I know what I'm doing and I'm a good driver or something. And I'm doing that, guys, without TSM. Probably maybe about half down there, guys, just kind of keeping the throttle going a little bit. Oh man, they nailed these tires. So guys, I gotta tell you, my first thoughts and impressions of this truck are no, it's not going to be like a crazy jumper. You're not going to get the response of, let's say, like a 6S, like a Kagama, a 6S monster truck with tires and all that kind of stuff on it, like heavier tires. However, it drives beautifully. It is so much fun to just throw this truck around, and again, with no gyro at all, it handles really good. Like, it almost feels like it has it, but it doesn't. Nice, good control. All right, now I did kind of promise we'd take some in-between jumps, not big ones, but I'd like to get a little bit of air and see how this thing behaves. Kind of leaving the ramp properly. Nice. There we go. Jeez, that was a close one. Oh man, I do think I could pull off a backflip. Oh yeah! Backflip with the Shiroi. And honestly guys, not really all that, it didn't take much. And we've got the ramp down. You can, well, it's 3 spots down, guys. We could go up 3 more notches. Oh, jeez. There we go. Another test. Another test. Love the color, love the blue, love the orange. Again, it's at 6 volts, stock servo. All right, guys, I know I'm doing a lot of this. It feels really nice. It has a very, dare I say, like a premium feel to it. Very smooth. Again, the steering is fast enough. You know, if you were on a track and you needed to make really sharp pins, and let's say it was high traction, that would be a different story. But for me, I can just do that. Easy to work with. Yeah, again, guys, I'm loving these tires. I don't know, actually, guys, I don't even know what I've driven that has as much control, where I can actually do, guys, the line I'm trying to do. You guys will see me in videos kind of come this way, and I want to go like kind of drift down into here, and usually I either end up in the grass or I just kind of oversteer and I go someplace else. That's kind of not the case. I can almost do it, or I think I have done it. Of course, that time I'm all over the place. But still, though, easy to correct. All right, guys, we've got the truck home. It's back on the bench. It's not all cleaned up. A lot of editing going on there, guys. A lot of, cuts and pastes and all that kind of stuff. Basically, what I was really trying to do was just put that running video in this video. I didn't want to add an extra 25 minutes to the unboxing video, but I wanted to show you guys everything. I wanted to show you guys this truck running around. And, when I'm putting together the video, often, guys, it's the big jumps that, look cool and they grab the attention and they, to be fair, they make the video look good. And when you were watching that, you notice that most of it is just me driving around. That's because that's where this truck is so much fun. And when I was making the video, I was trying to cut some of that out and get on more into the jumps and stuff. But that's where this truck shines. These tires, the 6S power plant, the way it's set up, the suspension, the sway bars, everything makes for an absolute amazing driving truck. And that's where it was the most fun. I just wanted to kind of keep driving it around. I wanted to keep throwing it around. You guys know, for those that watch the video, that you've seen videos up there at the top of my street, I'm always complaining about traction. I'm always complaining about the trucks, buggies, cars being all over the place. And that was not the case. All I had to do was just let off the throttle a little bit, maybe loosen my hand a little bit on the wheel of the transmitter, and it would just grab and go. Super, guys, impressive truck to drive. Now, because this video's gone on so long, I'm not going to keep going about the truck. I will say this much though, probably, and if something else comes to mind, I will let you guys know in another video, but probably one of the best driving RCs I have. Again, guys, it was just so enjoyable to drive around. Again, not doing the crazy jumps, not doing wheelies, none of that stuff. Just the actual driving experience of this truck is awesome. Now, something I mentioned in another video that kind of will tie now into this one. Yes, if some of you guys have already figured it out, I am moving, which means this room is going to go away. And I have, obviously, guys, a ton of packing to do. And that's for the whole house. But this room, guys, even in general, has got a lot. So you're going to see probably within, for at least the next month, maybe even a month and a half, there won't be many update videos. You're going to still see videos, guys, because I've got, videos from the summer. I've got videos, guys, going back as far as the beginning of August that just I've never actually made. I got to edit them, put them together. So there's still going to be videos coming out. There's just not going to be a lot of this right here. There'll be, simple little easy, end bites to videos and stuff like that. But my wife and I, we've obviously got a lot to do. We've been in this house for 18 years. But what's really cool, guys, and I'm going to be doing videos on it, is I'm leaving my very small hobby room that I've been in for 18 years. And I finally have a garage, which I am, guys, so blown away by. I've got a little savings that I've saved up over the last little bit just to be able to do some stuff in the garage, buy what I need. So I am super duper excited for that. Now, what I do want to leave you guys with, and I mentioned it a few times in the video, is that everything you saw in this video, the driving of the truck, was done bone stock. I didn't even adjust the steering trim. At one point I thought I needed to, and then I kind of drove the truck away and I was like, no, it's actually, guys, the steering was on. It was just me kind of, either on the throttle and just the way the truck was kind of, maybe bouncing a little bit, but bone stock. No ESC changes, no shock changes, no diff fluid changes, nothing. Again, going back to one of the best driving experiences I've had, I don't think I've ever had an RC come out of the box this good, this dialed, where you just literally charge up a battery, drop it in, and drive. The only thing, guys, I did do, and I do this with every single car, is I always kind of reset up the ESC. So, when you hold a button, set up your neutral, your throttle, and your reverse. I always do that. It's just something that once you start doing it, you just have to do it. But guys, that's it. That's all. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe and have a fantastic day.